You've shared some really powerful material with us for this deep dive.
Yes, definitely.
And today we're focusing on one piece, Premchand's short story, Kafan, The Shroud.
A classic. Really well known in Hindi and Urdu literature.
It is. And what gets me is just how much it packs in,
hmm
about society, about us, humans,
Yeah,
all in just a few pages.
absolutely. Throws you right in, doesn't it? No messing around.
Right.
You're immediately faced with this really harsh scene. It's a cold winter night. There's this dilapidated hut.
Yeah.
And inside, Bhutia, Madhav's wife, she's in labor. Sounds like a really difficult one. You can hear her cries outside.
And outside. Outside
Yeah.
sit her husband, Madhav, and his father, Gisu, just sitting there.
Seemingly, yeah, almost completely detached from her agony. It's quite jarring.
That detachment, that's the first thing that just grabs you. Like you said, their conversation.
Yeah.
It's almost cruel.
It is. Gisu asking if she'll even make it, and Madhav's response.
Why doesn't she just die? What's the point of looking? I mean, wow.
Yeah. It's a brutal way to introduce these characters and their reality.
Okay, so let's dig into this. We learned pretty quickly, Gisu and Madhav, they have a reputation in the village.
Oh, yes. Not a good one. They're known for being incredibly lazy.
And they belong to the Chamar caste, right? Which is important context.
Crucial context. Historically marginalized, facing, real stigma and economic hardship. It shapes everything.
The story spells it out, doesn't it? They only work when they're absolutely starving.
Pretty much. The Gisu might work one day, then take 3 off. Madhav's even worse. Maybe works an hour, then stops for a smoke.
So obviously finding work isn't easy for them. Or rather, they don't seek it out.
Right. And this points to something Premchand is showing, I think. How the system itself can kind of breed this learned helplessness. Like, why bother with hard labor if the reward is so minimal? It pushes people to the edges.
It's such a vivid picture of just scraping by, constantly.
Totally hand to mouth. If they had even a little food, forget work.
They survive by, what, breaking off branches for firewood, stealing potatoes.
Exactly. Scavenging, occasional theft. It's extreme poverty, but also a particular way of coping, maybe.
That's the fascinating thing, this kind of paradoxical life they lead. They have nothing, literally a few clay pots.
Tattered clothes, yeah.
But they seem almost free from worry, even though they're in debt. People yell at them.
It doesn't seem to land the same way, does it? There's this odd sort of, grim freedom in having nothing left to lose.
And then Bhuti enters the picture. She married Madhav, moved in.
And she tried. The story says she really tried to bring some order. Worked hard, grinding grain, cutting grass, earning a bit.
Trying to feed them, basically.
Yeah, but the unintended result, Gisu and Madhav just got lazier. More demanding, even. Started expecting higher wages if someone did offer them work, because Bhutia was bringing something in.
So the person trying to, make things slightly better is now inside, suffering, possibly dying, and they're outside, almost, waiting for it to be over so things go back to normal.
It's a really stark look at how poverty, that deep, grinding poverty, can just warp everything. Relationships, motivations.
And the story makes a point, too, doesn't it? That even the people who worked hard, the other laborers...
They weren't necessarily much better off.
Right. And sometimes the ones exploiting the farmer's weaknesses actually lived more comfortably.
Which really underscores the social hierarchy Premchand is critiquing. And then you get this observation about Gisu,
Yeah.
that in his own kind of twisted way, maybe he was smarter than the farmers busting their guts.
Oh, so...
Well, he seemed to get that hard labor often just led to more exploitation, so he chose inaction. Tried to align himself with the cunning, the exploiters, even though he wasn't very good at their game.
It's a really disturbing thought. Choosing laziness as a form of, what, resistance? Or just survival?
It's deeply uncomfortable. A commentary on a system where effort doesn't pay off.
Then the focus shifts, just snaps right back to their immediate needs. Hunger.
Always hunger. They're roasting those stolen potatoes.
So hungry, they burn their tongues because they can't wait for them to cool.
It's such a small detail, but it says so much about their constant state of deprivation. Just that raw physical need overriding everything.
Eating stolen food with that kind of desperation?
Yeah.
What does that really show us?
It shows how survival is paramount. Everything else just fades away, and it leads right into Gisu's memory, doesn't it?
Ah, the feast. The Thakur's wedding feast.
Yes, 20 years ago, but he remembers it like yesterday. The description is just overflowing.
Puris, ghee, chutney, vegetables, yogurt, sweets.
A total sensory overload compared to their usual, well, nothing. It's this explosion of abundance.
It highlights that basic human need, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or for comfort, for plenty, just once in a while.
Even if it's just a memory, it shows what they lack, what they desire deep down, maybe.
He really dwells on the generosity, how everyone ate their fill. He couldn't even manage a betel leaf afterwards, just had to lie down.
Such a powerful contrast to the burning potatoes. And then Matav's comment.
Yeah, Matav pulls it right back to reality. When will we ever get a feast like that again?
Oof. Brutal. And Gisu's response, lamenting the times, the hypocrisy of the rich hoarding wealth while telling the poor to be frugal.
Classic Premchen. That sharp social commentary woven right in. The sparse descriptions just make the reality harsher.
Exactly. His realism is so effective.
And they even boast about how much they ate back then. Gisu claims over 20 puris.
And Matav says he could have eaten 50. It shows this capacity for enjoyment, for appetite, that's usually just completely suppressed by their situation.
Jan, the inevitable. Matav goes inside.
And finds Budia, dead, the child still born beside her.
The description is just flat. Direct, flies on her face, eyes upturned, body dusty, no sentimentality.
No. Their first reaction is the expected one, though. Wailing, beating their chests, the performance of grief for the village.
But almost immediately.
Yeah, the practicalities kick in. We need a shroud, we need wood for the pyre.
And the big problem.
Yeah?
Money. They have none.
Gone. The story says, like meat from a kite's nest. Perfect image. Utterly gone.
So they have to go to the Zamindar, the landowner.
The very man who despises them, who's beaten them before for stealing and not working, but they have no choice.
And his reaction is just what you'd expect. Disgust. Sarcasm. Why are you even showing your face?
Gisu knows how to play this game, though. Groveling, tears, prostrating himself.
Painting this picture of utter helplessness. They need the Zamindar's mercy just to perform the last rites. It's a performance, but rooted in their real desperation.
And it works. Sort of. The Zamindar gives them 2 rupees. Grudgingly.
More, because he has to, right, to keep up appearances.
Yeah.
Social obligation.
Exactly. He barely looks at them. But those 2 rupees are the seed.
Right, because once the Zamindar has given...
Others feel they have to chip into. The moneylenders, the shopkeepers. Gisu cleverly uses the Zamindar's name.
And within an hour, they've got 5 rupees. Plus grain and wood donations.
Quite a haul for them. Suddenly they have resources.
So they got the wood sorted, but they still need the shroud, the kafan.
And Gisu makes a comment, something like, "We've got plenty of wood now."
And this is the moment, isn't it? The turning point.
You can almost feel the unspoken thought passing between them. 5 rupees.
Money that maybe could have helped Budhia earlier if they'd had it.
Could have. And now, it's there. Available. And their steps just seem to lead them.
Inevitably. Towards the liquor shop.
It's like a magnetic pull. A silent agreement. This is how they cope.
They buy a bottle, get some snacks.
Guzak, yeah. And settle down on the veranda, start drinking.
And as they get drunk, the justifications start pouring out.
Gisu starts it. The shroud, it would have just burned anyway. It wouldn't have gone with her.
A pretty flimsy excuse.
Totally. But it eases the conscience, or what's left of it. Allows them to proceed.
Madhav chimes in too, right? About money wasted on priests, the uncertainty of heaven.
Yeah, dismissing all the rituals, the societal expectations. It's like they're bonding over this shared transgression.
Gisu even jokes, "We'll just tell everyone we lost the money."
And Madhav says something truly awful.
Oh yeah, about Budhia dying after being well-fed and watered by them.
Just cruel. The alcohol stripping away any remaining filter or, frankly, humanity at that moment.
So the money meant for the shroud.
Goes on a feast. A real feast, this time at the tavern. 2 sears of puris, meat, gravy, liver, fish.
They're described like lions eating their prey. No shame, no accountability.
Just pure, raw, hedonistic release. An escape. Forgetting Budhia, forgetting everything.
And Gisu tries to philosophize even then, wondering if their pleasure, their full bellies, will bring merit to her soul.
Such a warped logic. Madhav just drunkenly agrees, prays she goes to heaven.
But then Madhava has this tiny flicker of something, worry.
Yeah, just for a second. What if she asks us about the shroud in the afterlife?
And Gisu's reply. It's kind of chillingly insightful, in a way.
What does he say again?
Something like, "Don't worry, she'll get one. A much better one than we could have given." Implying, what? The system got. Someone else will provide in death they couldn't in life.
It's that grim acceptance again. A recognition of their own uselessness, maybe, and the cycle they're trapped in. Like, even her shroud is beyond their means or responsibility.
The night goes on, the tavern gets louder, people singing, getting drunk.
And Gisu and Madhav are right there in the middle of it. Eating, drinking, oblivious.
Then Madhav does something unexpected, gives the leftover purist to a beggar.
Yeah, and feels proud, satisfied. A feeling he's never had before, the story says, giving something away.
A tiny spark of something different, but fleeting.
Very fleeting. Gisu's blessing to the beggar brings it right back down.
So the money was hard-earned, meaning by Budia, and her blessings will reach her. The cynicism is just dripping.
And Madhav declares again, she'll be queen of heaven.
Gisu agrees, but then launches into this tirade against the rich, the hypocrites who exploit people like them and then pay for prayers to cleanse their sins.
It's his final bitter judgment on the whole system that crushed them.
And then the oblivion, singing, dancing, falling down drunk.
Collapsing in a stupor. The shroud, Budia, everything. Completely forgotten.
So, yeah, kafan. It's not a comfortable read.
Not at all. It lays bare these really brutal truths about poverty, about the apathy it can create, about, well, the desperate ways people try to find some escape, however brief or destructive.
And that ambiguity you mentioned about Gisu and Madhav, it stays with you.
Absolutely. Are they just bad people, heartless, or are they so beaten down by the system, so stripped of dignity and hope, that this is all that's left?
That feels like the core question Primshin leaves us wrestling with.
It really is. And it forces you, the listener, to think, right, what does the story say about our collective responsibility? About how we value human life when someone's alive and after they're gone?
Especially for those on the margins.
Exactly. What's the real meaning of rituals like needing a shroud when the life lived was so deprived? Is Premshin commenting on the emptiness of those rituals compared to the harshness of lived reality?
That's a lot to think about. A powerful, enduring story really makes you reflect on social inequality, even today.